Alright, guys. So, this particular story isn't exactly autograph related. It's kind of wrestling related, but not really anyway. I figured it would be an interesting story to kind of lead off our new segment called Stories from the Road, and I hope you guys enjoy. Um, it's an interesting story nonetheless, and kind of a scary traveling experience. So, I just kind of want to share this story for, you know, when you go on the road and things don't exactly go to plan. But anyway, we'll jump right into it here. We're going to talk about Madison Square Garden for a little bit. For those of you that haven't been to Madison Square Garden before, the electricity in that building is just crazy. You just walk into it, you can just like feel the electricity and just feel the history in the air. It's just wild. I can't really explain it. I've never been to anywhere else that had that feeling to it before. So anyway, I went to Madison Square Garden the day after Christmas about 2 years ago. My brother was gracious enough to get us tickets to a WWE event. My brother, being my brother, didn't exactly think of how we're going to get to Madison Square Garden or anything of that. So on Christmas Day, we were mad scrambling for train tickets and so forth. Got all our travel arrangements sorted out and everything like that, and headed off to Madison Square Garden the day after Christmas. Me and my brother had never been on a road trip together, so we kind of just, decided to wing it. And basically, we got our train tickets. The train was supposed to pick us up in Trenton, New Jersey, take us over to Madison Square Garden, drop us off right underneath Madison Square Garden at, I believe it's called Penn Station. Ironically enough, I believe the train station in New Jersey is also called Penn Station, which is interesting. But anyway, so we arrive at the train station in Trenton. We're almost late for our train. We're like scrambling, running across the parking lot, trying to find our train. We find our train with like 2 minutes to spare, literally, like we got on and the train left. So it takes us underneath Madison Square Garden. I had already previously scouted it out. I thought about, getting some autographs and things like that, but we didn't actually end up doing that. We met some wrestling fans at a restaurant underneath Madison Square Garden and just kind of hung out and talked with them and things like that. Anyway, we went to the wrestling event. You can see by the pictures that I've included in the video, it was a crazy event. I have way more pictures, but I figured I would just show a few. Anyway, cool event. We had to leave at the main event, which was Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax. We did see a little bit of it, but anyway, we had to leave to catch a train. Interestingly enough, when we left, just so all of you are aware, Madison Square Garden is the weirdest arena I have ever been to in my entire life. Basically, you walk in and like you think that you're like in the main concourse of the arena as to where like the the seats and so forth would be like right there. But no, you have to like turn down this long hallway and then go through some turnstiles and up like 3 or 4 escalators just to get to what they consider the main concourse, right? Where all the seats and so forth are. Anyway, weird layout. Me and my brother ended up getting in some elevator on our way down to try and get out of the garden, and ended up actually exiting out of the wrestler's entrance, which was kind of weird, but it is what it is. Too bad there wasn't a wrestler there at the time, but that was still interesting, that how that arena's set up. It's just strange. You got to experience it for yourself. Anyway, so here's where the story picks up and takes an interesting turn. We get on the train. We're supposed to go back to Trenton. Me and my brother get up when the train stops at the Trenton, train station, and the doors don't open, and the train starts moving again. So I go over to this guy that's in like a uniform, and I'm like, "Hey man, we missed our stop. We're not from the area. Like, how do I get back to where I'm supposed to go?" And he's like, "Oh, you get off at the airport." Okay. So keep in mind, by this time it's like 1, going on 1 at this point. And this other guy, he had also missed his stop at the same stop that we were at. So the 3 of us are now together, and we're going to get off at the Trenton airport at 1 in the morning with nobody around, right? And this guy's got a big duffel bag. He's got a big coat on. He's got a big backpack. And I have no idea what's in any of these, right? But he's asking my brother, like, to use his phone, to use my brother's phone. So my brother, being nice, lets him use his phone. I probably wouldn't have, just because, I don't know, maybe I'm mean or something like that. But I don't know. My brother lets him use his phone. He gives my brother back his phone. But in the meantime, while the guy was on the phone, I pulled my brother aside. I was like, hey, this guy's got a lot of bags, a big puffy coat. We just got to be on guard, right? It's only the three of us. You never know what could happen. So I'm telling my brother's like, cool, it'll all be fine. He's making conversation with the guy and everything else. And the guy, all of a sudden, opens the big duffel bag, and it's got a bunch of cell phones in it. He pulls out one of the cell phones, starts using the cell phone, right? But he's asked my brother to use his phone twice now. My brother has let him use his phone twice, and yet now he unzips this duffel bag, and there's phones in it, and he's using one of the phones. So at this point, I'm completely like on full alert, trying to figure out what's going on. So finally the train shows up. Keep in mind, we didn't have any idea when this train was actually going to show up. They just said, hey, this train will show up and take you back to where you need to go. So the train shows up. We sit on this train for what seems like forever. And the conductor guy argues with me. He's like, I'm not going to take you guys back. You don't have a ticket. I was like, well, I'll buy a ticket. I just want to go back. And he's like, well, just this once. I'll, take you back or whatever. So sort all that out. We go back. And as you get off the train, there's like a big set of stairs, right? And at the bottom of the stairs, there's like an opening to the front and then like a door off to your right? So I can see through the opening in the front that there's the McDonald's that we passed on the way in, and we need to go that way. And that, as luck would have it, there's 10, 15 cops standing there, just hanging out by this McDonald's. So I told my brother, I'm like, hey, maybe if we go really slow, this guy will leave us alone if we go really slow down these stairs. Because he was getting way ahead of us. And so me and my brother going real slow down these stairs. He's waiting on us. He's telling us, it's the door to the right, follow me. He's opening the door to the right, trying to get us to go out the door to the right. I'm telling my brother, hey, we have to go straight to talk to those police officers and see where we're going, because I just wanted to separate myself from the situation, all that kind of thing. And my brother, being my brother, is going to follow this guy out the door to the right. And I literally grabbed a hold of my brother and pulled him straight toward the police officers and things like that. So as soon as we get to where the police are, this guy almost disappears. He's way far back in the distance, right, as I'm talking to these cops. And I should have told them, hey, we're a little creeped out. Can you walk us to our car or something? But instead I just checked to see if we were going the right way. They said we were. I said thanks, and we moved on. We were going past that McDonald's, and that guy caught back up with us, and he's like, hey, can you guys give me a ride, is what he said. And I was like, I can't really do that. I'm sorry, man. And he's like, well, it's on the way. Now, keep in mind, we didn't tell this guy where we were going the whole time, okay? So he has no idea, if it's on the way or not. And I tell him again, I'm sorry, man, can't do it, have a nice day. And he disappears again. And me and my brother are like, oh, great. Now he's probably taking a side door. He's going to jump us in the parking lot or something. So me and my brother just take off in a full sprint across this whole train station, through the parking lot and everything, keeping our head on a swivel looking for this guy. Now, I've never been so happy to see my brother's car. And we get in my brother's car, lock all the doors, and, pull out of the parking garage. And my brother, who usually doesn't say anything, finally says, we're in a pretty bad area right now. And I said, you think? I said, we're not stopping for nothing. And he goes, I agree. And we went home, didn't stop for anything, got home at 4 in the morning. Kind of sucked, from a lateness standpoint. But I'm just glad we made it out of there. It was kind of weird that that guy had a bag full of cell phones and who knows what else, and was still asking my brother to use his phone. So never exactly figured that one out. Plus, him trying to lead us out that side door was a little bit weird. But always got to keep your guard up when you're on the road. I just got to teach my brother how to do that a little bit better. So, all right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little story. I know it wasn't really autograph related, but a story from the road nonetheless. And we'll catch you next time on Stories from the Road. And leave a comment. Please subscribe. Let us